take us through, what is going to happen, what is expected rather in this public consultation process, and then, once that process is done, where do we go to from there?
Well, the idea of some sort of special economic zone in Saldanha has been around for a long time, but this current process really started in 2008 with a pre-feasibility study. Then a feasibility study was started in 2010 in the province, and then that was presented to us in September. We then made our comments on that and presented it according to the Act to the Manufacturing Development Board, which then agreed that we should go ahead with this process of consultation. There are, as you said, 60 days of comment, which will be coming in from the public all over the country. We are also having a special event in Saldanha itself on the 30th of this month, which will give stakeholders locally an opportunity to make their comments. And then depending on the comments and depending on the way the public consultation goes, we will then have to respond to what has been raised and then move towards the awarding of an operator license for the industrial development zone to start off. I should say that the IDZ is primarily focused on oil and gas service industries. This is an important industry, something which we have elevated to a national program in the current version of our Industrial Policy Action Plan. Not just on the west coast of our country, but also because we are aware of other opportunities on the east coast. But Saldanha is well placed to be able to service vessels and rigs coming from a number of west coast oil and gas producing countries. In addition to that, there are many other opportunities in Saldanha, ranging from the processing of mineral sands, aquaculture, wind farming and associated industries and so on. But this is the IDZ process, and this is the model that is being put out for public consultation.
Now, of course, the IDZ has special arrangements. It has been designated. Tell us what is in it for industries in the affected sectors, as you've mentioned, to participate in the IDZ zones.
Well, an IDZ is a form of special economic zones. I mean, we are having a bill out to allow for a broader range of options other than the IDZ, but including the IDZ. The IDZ essentially will provide for a customs controlled area where there will be duty-free entry of the inputs required for the output, in this case the services, then in addition to that, the operator will engage in a marketing exercise. They'll have to develop infrastructure to support this. We know of a number of foreign investors who are interested. We did raise the question of there needs to be skills development. I think everybody understands significant skills development, as well as the creation of opportunities for small businesses. But essentially, we have heard that a number of potential investors have actually talked about the accessing of the inputs required for the servicing and the issues that arise from that. The IDZ will enable these to come in duty-free in a customs-controlled area.
Now, Minister, what are the kind of prospects for job creation within this IDZ zones?
Well, according to the feasibility study, over a 25-year period, as a result of the IDZ, on the high road scenario, about 29,000 jobs could be created. On the low road scenario, about half of that.
Now, of course, these are potential jobs and these are projections. Given the current tough economic climate, what is your sense, Minister, from the affected sectors and the companies involved for their appetite for job creation and, of course, that important component of actually, imparting those critical skills?
Well, look, I mean, just on the west coast of Africa, we have oil and gas production in Namibia, in Angola, in Equatorial Guinea, in Gabon, in Ghana and Nigeria, just to mention some. And all of these have rigs that need servicing. Now, in many cases, the options are not that many. They would, in some cases, have to take the rigs over to Europe if they don't have them serviced in our part of the world. The oil industry is booming. the oil industry will continue to boom, and we have an opportunity to service these rigs and get the engineering skills and capacities in place to do that. So I think that there's plenty of opportunities. The point and the question really is, and the challenge is to seize those opportunities, and I think the IDZ will create a much better climate for attracting that kind of business to Saldanha.
Minister, a final question. This process was obviously long in the making. Give us an idea of what other IDZs are going to be launched and in different parts of the country, and what is the, the outlook going forward for this kind of intervention into the economy?
Well, as I said before, we have a Special Economic Zones Bill, which is an advanced stage of consultation. Special Economic Zones Bill is predicated on the assumption that the only form of special zone is not necessarily the industrial development zone. IDZs allow for duty-free entry of inputs, essentially for products which are exported. IDZs are around ports and also airports. The new bill will allow for the designation of different other kinds of special economic zones based around particular product categories or clusters, as well as other possible configurations. And I think that this model will also allow us to develop dedicated incentives and other support programs for the IDZ. So I think that that's the model we're working on. At this moment in time, there are no further proposals in the queue for designation of IDZs, but many ideas are being worked on and being worked with through the provinces for SEZs.